In the last 72 hours alone, over 200 flights have been grounded due to technical issues. And if you think that's just normal airline stuff, you're missing what aviation experts are calling the most disturbing pattern in modern flight history. Right now, pilots are speaking out, whistleblowers are coming forward, and what they're revealing will make you think twice before booking your next flight. Here's what's actually going down. Since early December 2024, we've seen an unprecedented spike in aircraft being pulled from service. We're not talking about weather delays or staffing issues. We're talking about planes being grounded mid-route because of sudden mechanical problems, door seal failures, engine anomalies, and hydraulic system malfunctions. United Airlines alone reported 47 aircraft pulled from rotation in just 2 weeks. Delta, 33 planes grounded. Southwest, they're not even releasing numbers anymore, which honestly, that tells you something right there. But here's where it gets interesting. These aren't random incidents scattered across different aircraft types. Nearly 60% of these technical issues are happening on Boeing 737 MAX and Airbus A320neo family aircraft, the newest planes in most fleets. And the timing? Plot twist, this surge started almost immediately after the FAA implemented new mandatory inspection protocols in late November. Coincidence? We'll get to that. Social media is exploding with passenger videos. Planes turning around 30 minutes into flights. Pilots making tense announcements. Passengers recording weird noises from engines. One viral TikTok shows a cabin panel literally vibrating loose during takeoff. You're probably thinking, okay, but planes have maintenance issues all the time, right? Actually, no. Not like this. Here's what most people don't understand about aviation maintenance. The average person hears technical issue and thinks it's just routine stuff, a broken tray table, a faulty reading light. But when the FAA uses the term technical issue as grounds for grounding an aircraft, we're talking about systems that could compromise flight safety. We're talking about the difference between an inconvenience and a potential catastrophe. Now here's where the confusion really kicks in. Airlines are being super vague. They'll say out of an abundance of caution or routine inspection revealed concerns. But they won't tell you what concerns. They won't tell you how widespread the problem is. And they definitely won't tell you if the same issue exists on the plane you're about to board. But wait, it gets crazier. Some aviation analysts are saying these aren't even new problems. They're saying these issues have existed for months, maybe years. The only difference? Now airlines are actually checking for them because the FAA basically forced their hand after a series of close calls that the public barely heard about. Here's the thing nobody's talking about, the maintenance backlog. During the pandemic, thousands of aircraft sat idle. When they came back into service, airlines were under massive financial pressure to get planes flying again fast. Industry insiders are now suggesting that critical maintenance got rushed, inspections got abbreviated, and warning signs got, let's say, overlooked. You won't believe this part, but according to a leaked internal memo from a major airline's maintenance department, technicians were being pressured to sign off on aircraft they hadn't fully inspected because, quote, "We need these birds in the air." And then there's the parts problem. Aviation-grade components have massive supply chain delays. Some critical parts? 8 to 12-month wait times. So what are airlines doing? Some whistleblowers claim they're borrowing parts from other aircraft, creating a shell game of working components being shuffled between planes. Plot twist. This might explain why planes keep developing problems mid-flight. The part works, until it doesn't. Okay, let's connect the dots that aviation authorities don't want you connecting. This story actually starts back in January 2023 with the Alaska Airlines door plug blowout. Remember that? A door panel literally ripped off mid-flight. Passengers could see outside at 16,000 feet. Miracle nobody died. That incident triggered the FAA to launch a massive audit of Boeing's manufacturing quality control. What they found was actually shocking. Documentation gaps. Skipped quality checks. Pressure on inspectors to rush certifications. Now here's where things get interesting. That audit didn't just look at new planes rolling off assembly lines. The FAA mandated inspections of planes already in service, specifically looking at door plugs, fuselage fittings, and critical fasteners on over 2,800 aircraft. Guess what they're finding? Loose bolts. Missing fasteners. Improperly torqued connections. On planes that have been flying passengers for years. But wait, there's a deeper layer. The aviation industry has been facing a critical shortage of certified aircraft mechanics. We're talking about a 15% gap between needed technicians and available technicians. These are specialized positions requiring years of training. You can't just hire someone off the street to work on a jet engine. So airlines are running skeleton maintenance crews, working mandatory overtime, under constant pressure to turn planes around faster. One mechanic told reporters he's working 60-hour weeks and still can't keep up with the inspection schedule. Here's what nobody's saying out loud. We might be watching the consequences of years of cost-cutting finally catching up with the industry. And then there's the Boeing factor. After two catastrophic 737 MAX crashes that killed 346 people, Boeing paid billions in fines and promised to overhaul their safety culture. But according to current and former employees, the pressure to prioritize production speed over quality checks never really went away. Now here's where it gets really interesting. Some aviation safety experts are suggesting that what we're seeing isn't a sudden surge in mechanical problems, it's a sudden surge in reporting and addressing mechanical problems that were always there. Think about that. That actually might be worse. It means we've been flying on planes with these issues all along, and only now are airlines actually taking them seriously enough to ground aircraft and fix them properly. So what does this mean for you, the actual person trying to fly somewhere? First, short-term, expect more delays and cancellations. We're looking at reduced flight capacity while aircraft undergo these enhanced inspections. Holiday travel? Yeah, it's going to be rough. Airlines are already recommending people arrive even earlier and build in buffer time for connections. But here's the thing, and this might sound counterintuitive, these groundings might actually make flying safer. Every plane getting pulled is a plane that's getting thoroughly checked instead of flying with potential problems. Aviation safety experts are saying this is what should have been happening all along. The flying public should actually want airlines to be this cautious, even though it's inconvenient. Now, looking ahead, this is probably going to trigger industry-wide changes. We're likely going to see stricter FAA oversight, more frequent mandatory inspections, and possibly new regulations around maintenance documentation and technician workload. Some analysts predict ticket prices will increase because proper maintenance and adequate staffing costs money. The era of ultra-cheap flights might be ending. But wait, here's what's really important. This situation is exposing a fundamental tension in modern aviation. Airlines are for-profit companies that need to minimize costs and maximize flight time, but they're also responsible for safely transporting hundreds of millions of people. That tension has always existed, but we're now seeing what happens when the balance tips too far toward profit. You're probably wondering, is it safe to fly right now? Here's the honest answer. Statistically, yes. Aviation is still incredibly safe. But we're at a critical moment where the industry needs to make hard choices about prioritizing safety over convenience and profit margins. So I want to know, have you experienced a flight delay or cancellation due to technical issues recently? Drop your story in the comments because I'm reading every single one. And here's the thing, if you found this breakdown valuable, if this explained what's really going on behind those vague airline announcements, smash that like button and subscribe because next week we're diving into something even crazier, why airport security might be completely changing in 2025, and what the TSA doesn't want you to know.